Hi, today I'm going to talk about the top few remedies for a homeopathic first aid kit for injuries. So my number one remedy is arnica. So arnica as a homeopathic remedy is usually the first aid remedy for any trauma, shock, injuries, especially when there is bruising and swelling. So for any accident or injury where there's a big fall or a car accident, and can also be used for a first aid for any sprain, fracture and so forth, usually followed by another remedy. The remedy that I also recommend for the first aid kit is Rescue Remedy. So Rescue Remedy is an all-rounder for any trauma or shock, particularly when there's anxiety, panic, terror. So again, it can be used for any accident, injury, but also when there's exams coming up, driving lessons and so forth. And then the next remedy I'm going to talk about is hypericum. So hypericum is a good remedy when there's any injury to highly innervated areas, so areas where there's lots of nerves, such as the ends of the fingers, the toes, and the base of the spine. If there's any injury to a nerve, it can often be used, like for example in dental, when they accidentally hit the nerve, it might be one of the remedies to consider there. And yeah, so if you bang, say, your fingers, you can sometimes get that shooting numb sort of pain, so hypericum is a good remedy for that. If there is a lot of bruising, trauma, you can also consider the arnica as well in that instance. And the next remedy to consider is Rhus tox. So Rhus tox is a good remedy for when there's any stiffness. So there's stiffness, restlessness. However, usually that loosens up as you start to move. So for example, when you first get out of bed and you feel a bit stiff and hard to get moving, and then keep moving and slowly it loosens up. So this is a good indication for Rhus tox. It's often common if there is arthritis or for a sprain. In the first instance of a sprain, you could always consider arnica, again, especially if there's lots of bruising, but often it needs to be followed up with the Rhus tox when it feels particularly stiff and hard to get moving. And another remedy you can consider in a sprain is Ruta Grav. The next remedy for the injury first aid kit is Symphytum. So Symphytum is a good remedy for a fracture when the bone breaks. Traditionally it was called knit bone, the herb comfrey it's extracted from, and so it helps the bone heal. As soon as possible after a fracture, it's important to use arnica again, because that's the first remedy for all the bruising, the trauma and the shock of the accident. However, usually the Symphytum is a good one to follow up. And they can be used alternating in a fracture to help with the pain, the swelling, as well as the healing of the bone. Sometimes you might need calc phos to follow up if the bone didn't heal well. And symphytum is another common remedy that can be used when there's a blow to the eye. So, for example, if a tennis ball goes and hits the eye and there's a bruising there, you can start with arnica, but symphytum is a really good remedy for this instance as well. So there's the 5 or 6 remedies for your first aid kit, and if you need any help getting first aid kits, you're welcome to contact me. And we also can do general first aid kits and pregnancy and birth first aid kits as well, the homeopathic labour kits. Thank you for listening to my channel, and if you enjoy it, please subscribe, like, perhaps send a comment, and hope you're going well.